dari segala sisi, seringkali hilang arti. Aku hidup untuk siapa? Ku sudah tidak nyaman lagi, bermimpi pun tahu diri. Apa sebaiknya pergi? Jika semua bersandar padaku, lalu aku bersandar kemana? Mengalah, walau bukan aku yang salah, membisu saat semua sibuk beradu. Walau tak rela pun ku bantu berdoa ini semua berakhir di aku. Setiap hari ku mengais harta yang tak ku miliki. Apa yang aku miliki? Jika semua bersandar padaku, lalu aku bersandar kemana? Mengalah, walau bukan aku yang salah, membisu saat semua sibuk beradu. Walau tak rela pun ku bantu berdoa ini semua berakhir di aku. Berakhir di aku. Berakhir di aku. Walau tak rela pun ku bantu berdoa ini semua berakhir di aku. Membisu saat semua sibuk beradu. Walau tak rela pun ku bantu berdoa ini semua berakhir di aku. Berakhir di aku.
Halo Pak,
Hai.
jadi aku pengen Papa mendengarkan lagu ini. Dan mungkin mau sejauh apapun aku pergi dan sebanyak apapun tempat buat kembali, aku tahu bahwa tidak pernah akan ada tempat yang senyaman di rumah sendiri.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll start the event at 9 o'clock. Please kindly wait.
Tempat yang ku rindu sejak
tempat yang ku rindu sejak lama. Rumah kecil itu tempat ku berteduh, senyuman pria yang ku rindukan akan ku buktikan semua doa dan harap.
Having a vision as a university that is the center of development of a Victorian civilization in providing access to higher education for wider community embedded in religiosity and humanism. Pamulang University carries the mission of organizing qualified and affordable higher education governance so that it can be accessed by wider community embedded in religiosity and humanism, organizing higher education that develops the civilization of science, technology, arts, and culture, organizing research and community service which has innovation, value, and impact on society, organizing cooperation with stakeholders to support the implementation of the Tridharma of higher education, having diverse students from various parts of Indonesia and lecturers who have academic qualifications and teaching competences and are committed to carrying out the Tridharma of higher education. Pamulang University has 3 campuses with strategic locations in the center of South Tangerang City. Pamulang University currently has 10 faculties and 1 postgraduate program with a total of 39 study programs. Faculty of Economics and Business, Faculty of Law, Faculty of Literature, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Computer Science,
Selamat datang kami ucapkan kepada
Faculty
Bapak
of
Rektor,
Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural.
welcome to all Rector of Universitas Pamulang, the first Vice Rector of Universitas Pamulang, and the third Vice Rector of Universitas Pamulang. Selamat datang Bapak. Welcome the Chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Dr. Pranoto SEMM. Selamat datang. Ladies and gentlemen, from the teleconference room of Universitas Pamulang, we present
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. The distinguished, the Chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Bapak Dr. Pranoto SEMM. The distinguished, the Rector of Universitas Pamulang, Bapak Dr. E. Nurzaman, AMMM MSI. The distinguished, the first Vice Rector of Universitas Pamulang, Bapak Dr. Ubaid Al-Faruq, SPD MPD. The distinguished, the third Vice Rector of Universitas Pamulang, Bapak Dr. M. Wildan, SSMA. The distinguished, the Dean Faculty of Letters, Universitas Pamulang, Miss Triana, SSMA. The distinguished, the Head of English Literature Study Program, Mr. Tito Dimas Atmawijaya, SPD MHUM. The distinguished panelists from College of Arts and Letters, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Rafael Michael Opaz, PhD. And the honorable guests and participants of the first International General Lecture today on the 29th of October 2024. We welcome you to the International General Lecture. Selamat datang di acara Kuliah Umum Fakultas Sastra di Universitas Pamulang. First of all, praise be to God the Almighty for His blessing that we're able to be here together in the teleconference room of Universitas Pamulang, having the first International General Lecture entitled English for International Communication for Students and Faculty, today, the 29th of October, 2024. I am Diah Iis Andriani as the Master of Ceremony. Puji dan syukur senantiasa kita panjatkan kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena berkat limpahan karunia-Nya, kita diberi kesempatan untuk bertatap muka dan berkumpul bersama dalam rangka mengikuti kuliah umum Fakultas Sastra yang bertema Bahasa Inggris untuk Komunikasi Internasional bagi Mahasiswa dan Fakultas. Hari ini, Selasa, 29 Oktober 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, before going on to the next session, Let me read the summary of the program as follows. First, opening remark, speech, implementation, arrangement, signing, musicalization of poetry, panel discussion, answer and question session, and closing. Hadirin yang berbahagia, sebelum kita lanjutkan, alangkah baiknya marilah kita bersama-sama membaca basmalah agar acara hari ini berjalan dengan lancar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hadirin yang kami hormati, menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya, Yupang Hinirang, dan Mars Universitas Pamulang. The attendees are requested to stand. Hadirin dimohon berdiri. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia National Anthem, Indonesia Raya. Distinguished guest, the Philippine National Anthem, Yupang Hinirang.
Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bakaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislat ng wataw at mo'y tagumpay na nagdinignig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw na buhay at ipagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may makaapi, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Honorable attendees, Unpam Mars. thank you for the wonderful display of national pride. Please feel free to take your seats as we continue our program. Hadirin disilakan duduk kembali. Ladies and gentlemen, opening prayer by Ustadz Kamil Falahi. Hadirin yang berbahagia, acara selanjutnya adalah pembacaan doa yang akan dipimpin oleh Bapak Ustadz Kamil Falahi, STHI, MPD. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Kamil, kami persilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The honorable guests, let's pray before beginning our international general lecture. Allow me to lead this prayer in Islam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. حمدا شاكرا حمدا دعافنا ويكافي مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك. Ya Allah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, the praise be to Allah, the Lord of the universe. Ya Allah, God Almighty, from whom all blessing flow. Today, you have blessed us together in this international general lecture. Enable and guide us to carry out all the activities of this study, and let everyone contribute all the best participation from the future of education in Indonesia and in the world, especially for the existence of PAMULANG University. Ya Allah, give strength, patience, and wisdom to all teacher or lecturer, student, and foundation of Sasmita Jaya, and everyone who involved in this university to work on their responsibility well. Into your loving hand, the one and the only Almighty God, Allah, we put our prayer. May God, from whom wisdom and knowledge flow, have mercy on our prayer. Amin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Amin. Terima kasih. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Kamil atas pemimpin doanya. Semoga doa tadi dapat memberikan keberkahan kepada acara kuliah umum kita pada pagi hari ini. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to the next agenda of this general lecture. Report speech by the Dean Faculty of Letters, Universitas Pamulang. Please welcome Ms. Triana SSMA.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, the Chair of Sasmita Jaya, Dr. Pranoto SEMM, the Honorable Rector of PAMULANG University, Dr. E. Nurzaman AM, MSc, MM, the Honorable Vice Rectors, Deans, and also heads of English, head of program studies in Unpam, and also lecturers, and also the distinguished guests from College of Arts and Letters, from Polytechnic University of Philippines. There are some hands for me to mention one by one of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm truly honored to stand before you here, that we can gather for this remarkable general lecture event. I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Your presence here signifies a shared commitment to knowledge exchange, intellectual growth, and also pursuit of innovation. This general lecture embodies the spirit of collaboration between Universitas PAMULANG and also Polytechnic University of Philippines. And this event also attended by representative of 10 faculties of Universitas PAMULANG. As we come together from diverse backgrounds and disciplines, we have a unique opportunity to engage in a meaningful discussion, to challenge our perspective, to foster connections, and can shape the course of our collective journey regarding English for international communication for university students and faculty. In addition, this activity, we also have a series of events held from last Sunday next to Friday. These activities are all Tridharma for higher education events. Our esteemed speakers have dedicated themselves to pursuing the boundaries of their respective fields, and we are fortunate to have their insight and expertise shared with us. Their contributions will undoubtedly inspire us to think beyond conventional boundaries and explore new horizons of thought. Furthermore, this event will not be possible without the dedication of countless individuals who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure its success. To the organizing committees, volunteers, and those who have contributed for this event, especially for Yayasan Sasmita Jaya, I extend our heartless gratitude. In closing, I wish all of us stimulating the rewarding general lecture. May the connection we make, the ideas we exchange, and the knowledge we gain propel us forward in our individual and collective pursuit. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Ms. Triana, for your comprehensive report. Your insights have provided us with valuable context and clarity. Honored attendees, welcoming speech from the chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation. Please welcome Dr. Pranoto SEMM.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. It is correct? Okay. First of all, I would like to thank God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has been giving us blessing and mercy so we can attend this event in good condition. The Honorable Rector of PAMULANG University, Dr. E. Nur Zaman, the Honorable Vice Rectors and also Deans, Heads of Study Program and Lecturers at PAMULANG University, also our keynote speaker at the General Lecture, Rafael Michael, PhD, Dr. Marisa, and also Dr. Jinky, and all of the delegation from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. It is a pleasure to greet anyone here today as we commemorate the successful collaboration between University Pamulang and our respected partner and beloved partner from the Philippine Polytechnic University of Philippines. This partnership signifies not only dedication to academic excellence, but also collective vision for advancement and growth in education, research, and international collaboration. Over the past few years, Unpam has made significant strides in enhancing our academic facility, in providing affordable and inclusive higher education to society. Currently, Unpam has 3 campus buildings located in different areas, which located in Pamulang, as well as another campus outside of Pamulang located in Serang. These improvements have not only enriched our campus environment, but have also provided our students and lecturers with necessary resources to succeed in their academic activities. Our dedication to academic activities development is evident in our soaring enrollment numbers and thriving diverse student body in an inclusive atmosphere. The students of Pamulang University now total roughly about 102,000, including students with disability. Thank you. Who receive scholarship and access to learning facility that ensure that they can learn alongside their peers. We take a pride in our notable achievement in research and publications, which highlights the innovative spirits of both our faculty and students. Our recent accreditation further attests to the high quality of education we offer, ensuring that our program meet rigorous standard. As we look to the future, this collaboration opens up exciting opportunity for international cooperation. We envision student and lecturer exchange program that will enrich our academic community. The student exchange program aims to foster cross-cultural understanding and broaden student perspective. Facilitating lecturer exchange also will enhance our teaching and research capability, fostering a vibrant learning environment. Collaborative research to exploring sustainable energy also possible as a solution to foster sustainable energy for the earth. And also IT for advancing technological innovation. This will not only elevate our academic standing, but also address pressing global challenges. However, we must acknowledge the obstacle we face in realizing this international opportunity. A significant barrier for many our students and lecturers is the lack of English proficiency. Furthermore, the cost associated with international exchange can be daunting. To overcome this challenge, we propose implementing English course tailored with both student and lecturer. We are pleased to announce that we have established Lembaga Bahasa, we call it, in English Language Institute, I believe, which will play a crucial role in this initiative. Hopefully, in the future, this institute will focus on customized English course designed specifically for different proficiency level that ensuring all participants can improve their language skill effectively. And then intensive language training offering immersive program that enhance conversational skills and academic English, catering to both student and lecturer. This will enhance communication skill and prepare our community for international collaboration. Additionally, utilizing learning management system or LMS and then virtual conferencing system for lecturer exchange can help bridge geographical gaps while minimizing costs. In conclusion, the collaboration between Unpam and our partner in the Philippine University, Polytechnic University of Philippines, present significant potential. By working together, we can overcome challenges and utilize our strength to create a dynamic academic environment that benefit our student, faculty, and wider community. Thank you for attention. I'm excited about the journey ahead as we strive for a brighter future in education and research. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bapak Pranoto, for the speech given. Hopefully, Unpam always Jaya, Jaya, Jaya. Valued guests, the next speech is welcoming speech from the Rector of Universitas Pamulang. Please welcome Bapak Dr. I. Nur Zaman, AM, MM, MSc.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Please allow me to speak in bahasa Indonesia, English, and also Tagalog. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Magadang umaga, posa inyong lahat. That's all can I speak in Tagalog. Thank you very much. The Honorable Mr. Dr. Pranoto MM, as the Chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, the Honorable Vice Rectors, Deans, and Head of Study Program, and the Honorable our Speaker at this General Lecturer, Mr. Rafael Michael PhD, Dr. Marisa L. Mayrena, and also Dr. Zinki Reyes, and all of the delegation from from Polytechnic University of Philippines or PUP, all of the lecturer and student Pamulang University. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much to the PUP delegation for your coming here and the committee for kindly working together to arrange this public lecture conducted by the Faculty of Letters Pamulang University or Universitas Pamulang. In this opportunity, I'd like to commemorate the great collaboration between Unpam and PUP. This collaboration provides a value of significant impact to the growth of academic excellence for our advancement in education and international collaboration. This event is part of the academic agenda to extend our learning resources, encourage our students, and increasing their knowledge and add international insight, especially on English for international communication. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that the teaching of global technology demand us to always continue in broadening our knowledge through communication, therefore, please use this forum as a platform to increase the learning platform both for student and lecturer in expanding international horizon of learning. That means the topic of the general lecture on English for international communication is a very important topic to be discussed deeply to reinforce our knowledge regarding the point of view on global communication. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope all of the students will take the opportunity from this forum and to pay attention to every section of this speaker presentation. With the name of Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open a general lecture on English for international communication for University of Pamulang today. Thank you very much and good luck. Terima kasih, mohon maaf. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kami mohon kepada Bapak Rektor untuk tetap di tempat, serta kami mengundang our panelist today, Mr. Rafael, to come and join to the stage, and the rector will give you the token of appreciation. Give the token. Here we are witnessing the delivering of the token of appreciation to our panelists today, Mr. Rafael. Thank you so much. Please stay on the stage. And I'd like to invite the Mr. Pranoto, the chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, and also the vice rectors, the dean of faculty of letters, and the head of literature study program to join on the stage to take photo session. SGTV team, please take this memorable moment together. Thank you. We also would like to invite all the guests from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines to join to the stage, Ms. Marisa and all other the guests to take picture together. Please feel free to gather around and let's make sure to smile for the camera. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay, one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, would like to invite you to have the freestyle together. Can you do that? Freestyle together. Oh, love, showing love. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheers. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We kindly invite you to return to your seats. Oh, I see. For everyone, for the panels, for the speakers, and then also for the audience today, please, we're gonna take picture together. Please stand up. We're going to be doing it from the front row. Please gather around and show your best smile to the camera. Ya, kami persilakan untuk berdiri kepada Bapak Ibu semua. Saya hitung 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Sekali lagi, gaya bebas Bapak Ibu. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. All right, thank you so much. Please round out of applause for all of us. Bapak Ibu, sebelum kita proses ke acara berikutnya, kami baru dapat mandat bahwa akan ada token of appreciation dari Filipina untuk Universitas Pamulang. So we'd like to invite the representative of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines to come to the stage. And would like to invite Dr. Pranoto to come and enjoy to the stage to get all right, for the rector, so it will be represented by the rector of Universitas Pamulang as well. Please join and enjoy on the stage to get the token of appreciation from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. All right, 1, 2, 3, cheese. One more time, 1. Okay, be ready. 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, we also would like to invite the Dean of Faculty of Letters, Ibu Triana, to join to the stage to get the picture together.
Okay, as our longtime partner from Universitas Pamulang, let me read the text. The Polytechnic University of the Philippines, this certificate of appreciation is awarded to the Faculty of Letters, Universitas Pamulang. This is in grateful acknowledgement of their unwavering support of the programs and projects of the College of Arts and Letters, the Department of English, Foreign Languages and Linguistics from 2021 to 2024. And this is given at the Tri-Dharma of Higher Education held at the Universitas Pamulang, Kota Tangerang, Selatan, Banten, 15417, Indonesia, from October 28 to November 1, 2024. And this is duly signed by the SUC President of PUP, Dr. Manuel M. Muhi. Let us give the department a big round of applause and Unpam as well. Salamat.
Thank you so much from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines for the token of appreciation. We really appreciate that. All right, let's take another picture here. 1, 2, 3, cheers. All right, one more time. Please show us the freestyle right here. 1, 2, 3, cheers. All right, thank you so much. We kindly invite you to return to your seats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to our next agenda today, which is implementation of arrangement signing. Would like to invite Mr. Rafael Michael Opas, PhD, to come to the stage to proceed the implementation arrangement signing. And also would like to invite every department, every deans and heads of some faculties in this university to come one by one. For the first one, would like to invite Ibu Triana as the Dean Faculty of Letters to proceed the implementation of arrangement signing. SGTV team, please take this memorable moment. All right, for the second one, we'd like to invite the head of Communication Science Study Program Universitas Pamulang, kepada yang terhormat Ibu Katri Anggraini, SOS MIKOM, to join on the stage. Silakan Ibu Katri. For the next one, we'd like to invite the head of study program of tax accounting Universitas Pamulang, kepada yang terhormat Ibu Husnul Khotimah, SIMM MAK CAP CFR, to join on the stage. Terima kasih Ibu. The next one, would like to invite the head of Informatics Engineering Study Program Universitas Pamulang, kepada Dr. Eng Ahmad Musyafa, Eskom MIKOM, kami persilakan. Okay, let's picture together. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you. We kindly invite you to return to your seat, Ibu. Silakan, Bapak. For the next one, please enjoy and join to the stage the head of Information Systems Program, Pamulang University. Kepada Bapak Heri Hairudin, Eskom Mkom, kami persilakan. Okay, let's take the picture. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Bapak. We kindly return you to the stage. The next one, please join to the stage the head of Management Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Pamulang. Please welcome Ibu Efriyanti, SE, Akte MSc Chair. Thank you, Bapak. Ibu silakan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next one, please join to the stage the Dean of Faculty of Communication Science Universitas Pamulang. Kepada Bapak Dr. Damai Surya Anggara, MPD, kami persilakan. Foto dulu Bu, boleh? Iya. Silakan tim SJTV tim, boleh ditunjukkan mapnya, dipegang. Iya. 1, 2, 3. Terima kasih Ibu. We kindly invite you to return to your seat. Honored attendees, the next one, please invite the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Universitas Pamulang, Dr. Taufikur Rahman, SHIMH. Kami persilakan. Atau boleh diwakilkan? Oh iya, oleh Kak Prodi, silakan Ibu. Honored attendees, the next one, please invite the Head of Business Administration Program Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Ibu Desilia Purnama Dewi SIMM, kami persilakan. Ladies and gentlemen, the next one, I'd like to invite the head of the study program Economic Education, Faculty of Teachers Training and Education, Universitas Pamulang. Please welcome Sofi Sofiatun, MMPD. Ladies and gentlemen, the next one, I'd like to invite the head of the Elementary Teacher Education Program, Universitas Pamulang, Heri Indra Gunawan, SPD, MPD. Please join to the stage. Honored attendees, the next one, let's invite the head of the Pancasila Education and Citizenship Study Program, Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Ibu Ihwani Siti Utami, SPDMH. Baik Ibu, silakan. Ibu Ihwani sedang berhalangan hadir, jadi diwakilkan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the next one, the head of Islamic Economic Study Program, Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Ibu Dr. Muhayaroh SAG MAG, kami persilakan. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the next one I'd like to invite the head of Islamic Education Management Study Program Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Muhlisin Eskom IMPDI, kami persilakan. Bapak Muhlisin. Yang akan diwakilkan oleh Pak Dekan. Silakan Pak. Ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to the next one. I'd like to invite the head of Industrial Engineering Study Program, Faculty of Engineering, Pamulang University. Kepada Dr. Rini Al-Fatia, STMT CMA, untuk ke panggung. Honored attendees, I'd like to invite the next one, the Chairman of Mechanical Engineering Study Program Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat, the Chairman, Nur Rahmat STMT, to come to the stage. Ini ada. Silakan Pak. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, the next one, I'd like to invite the head of the study program, Accounting Magister, Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Ibu Dr. Iin Rosini SE MSc untuk naik ke panggung. Terima kasih Bapak-bapak. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite the next one, the head of the Mathematics Study Program Universitas Pamulang. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Enggar Prasetyawan SPD MPD, kami persilakan. Silakan Bapak. Alright, honored attendees, the next one I'd like to invite the Dean Faculty of Teacher Training and Education Universitas Pamulang. Yang terhormat Bapak Dr. Andes Ali Nurdin MPD, to come to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, to come to the last but not least, I'd like to invite the Dean Faculty of Islamic Religion Universitas Pamulang, Bapak Dr. Haji Sopyan Hadi SPDI MAG, kami persilakan. Bapak Ibu, berikut ini adalah yang terakhir untuk proses penandatanganan implementation of arrangement between the both universities, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines and Universitas Pamulang. Thank you so much for Dr. Rafael. We kindly invite you to return to the seats. Honored attendees, the next program in this International General Lecture is the performance of musicalization of poetry. Please welcome Sasmita.
Good morning. So we are Sasmita, a community under dean of the Faculty of Letters in Pamulang University. So we focus on making and arranging poetry into a music form. So today we are going to perform a poem in Indonesian version. The first song is
Suara Rimba dari Muara Miau by Cipta Purwita.
Ada hamparan tanah ditumbuhi ilalang kering. Ada sungai-sungai panjang tohor tak berair. Ada kehidupan penuh kegersangan. Ada detak jantung, ada desah nafas terengah-engah. Bagai orang jompo kelelahan.
Ada tanda apa gerangan zaman seperti ini? Aku bertahan hidup di dalam gelap. Purnama hilang tertutup asap dan debu. Udara malam pekat mengembun di batang tenggorok. Ada tanda apa gerangan zaman?
Burung-burung walet tak merdeka hidup di rimba. Sangkarnya menjadi ajang perebutan pencarian rezeki. Tak pernah lagi ku dengar
tidur lelap.
Impiannya terbang,
Impiannya
bersama
terbang
nasib,
bersama
masa
masa depannya.
Kayu-kayu kandas tak bergerak, walau sudah dirakit-rakit. Sungai pun surut, tak kenal kata kompromi. Hujan tak pernah turun ke bumi.
Hanya patung-patung ulin lakek, bilong jauh dan gapura ujang lahai yang tetap tegak berdiri, memberi kedamaian bagi warga Dayak Kayan yang hidup di kampung-kampung tepian rimba.
Suara rakyat terlelah, hilang entah kemana. Nasib masa depannya tak pernah jelas, membekas di hamparan bumi.
Suara rakyat terlelap, hilang entah kemana.
Nasib masa depannya tak pernah jelas, membekas di hamparan bumi.
Suara rakyat terlelap, hilang entah kemana.
Nasib masa depannya tak pernah jelas, membekas di hamparan bumi.
Suara rakyat terlelap, hilang entah kemana.
The next poem.
Elegi Nada Sendu by Aisyafia.
Tuhan, maafkan aku karena nada sendu yang kerap kali kulantunkan. Dikala lirih menyelusup relung hati yang perih, tak ku percayai bahwa jalan terbaiklah yang telah engkau gariskan. Namun rona kehidupan yang seringkali membiru abu, acap kali datangkan pilu. Mungkin aku tak intim padamu, aku menyesal karena itu. Namun Tuhan, maafkan aku karena nada sendu yang kerap kali kulantunkan. Dikala lirih menyelusup relung hati yang perih, dikala lirih menyelusup relung hati yang perih, namun Tuhan, ombak yang sebabkan badai ini tak juga berlalu.
Yang aku lihat hanya tepian tebing yang disambut hantaman ombak dan puting beliung. Gigil, gemetar sekujur tubuhku. Pintaku hanya satu, jika melemah topangan kakiku dan sebabkan aku jatuh ke pusaran itu. Berilah aku tangan-tangan untuk menggapai dan mendekapku.
Agar tak selamanya aku terjebak dalam pusaran mimpi masa lalu yang hanya akan membawaku ke dasar laut hitam tanpa setitik pun cahaya. Agar tak selamanya aku terjebak dalam pusaran
mimpi
masa
lalu yang hanya akan membawaku ke dasar laut
hitam tanpa setitik pun cahaya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will be the core session of this International General Lecture, the panel discussion session. This program will be moderated by Ms. Wiwit Sariasi as PD MPD. It is my pleasure to introduce our moderator for this session. Ms. Wiwit is a respected lecturer in English Literature Department in Universitas PAMULANG and an accomplished author with over a decade of experience in guiding discussions on the intersections of education and culture. Her insightful perspectives and engaging style make her the perfect choice to lead our conversation today. Well, without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Wiwit Sariasi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning all. Honorables, Honorable the Chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundations, Dr. Pranoto, the Honorable Rectors of Universitas Pamulang and Vice Rectors of Universitas Pamulang, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is honorable for me to be a moderator for the general lectures today, and our speaker today is Mr. Rafael Michael Ortiz Paz, PhD. Well, first, allow me to give a warm welcome to our speaker today and also to introduce our speaker. First, this is a very great to have Mr. Rafael Michael Ortiz Paz, PhD, as our speaker because he has a great experience in teaching, experience in many eligible presentations, eligible experiences. And for the first, let me introduce that Mr. Rafael Michael Ortiz Paz is graduated from Doctors of Philosophy in English Language and Literature. and then eligibles and certifications as accreditors associates agency of certain college and universities in Philippines, and he is also professionals affiliations in a broad secretary and lifetime members of Linguistic Society in Philippines, and have published a lot of papers in journals and also paper presentations. And then the latest one is Translanguaging in Mamatech Curriculums, Assumptions, Attitudes, and Aspirations of Filipino Pre-Service Teachers. That is in April 11th, 2024. Okay, now talking about the works experience, it's a very wonderful works experience that right now Mr. Maricels Rafael Michael Ortiz Paz is a dean and professor, the first of College of Arts and Letters, and also professionals lecturers of reading early grades and art language educations. And without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Rafael Michael Ortiz Paz to present the papers.
Salamat pagi semuanya. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning, everyone. That's the English translation of what I said in Tagalog. Good morning. First, allow me to thank everyone for attending this general lecture, especially our host here at Universitas PAMULANG, the Faculty of Letters, headed by the Dean, Triana, SSMA. I would also like to thank the Chairman, Dr. Pranoto, SEMM, Rector, Dr. E. Nurzaman, AMMM, MSI, the Vice Rectors and the Deans of the different faculties for their warm welcome yesterday, and I'm very happy to see all of you today. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Let us begin with a presentation. May I have my slides, please? So I was invited to deliver a general lecture, the title of which is English for International Communication for University Students and Faculty. So according to Ethnologue, next slide please, Ethnologue is one of the most authoritative resources about the more than 7,000 known living languages of the world. And according to Ethnologue, English is an international language whose original homeland was in the United Kingdom, and it belongs to the Indo-European language family. It is used as a language of instruction in education. So English has more than 1 billion speakers, 2 billion according to other resources across the world, who use the language for a variety of functions, including reading and writing, news reporting across platforms, for example, on newspapers, radio, television, social media, in dictionaries and reference grammar, journal articles, religious texts, the internet, among others. And I hope our lecturers are using Ethnologue in teaching their students about languages. Let's have the next slide, please. Because Ethnologue does not only tell us about English, but other languages as well. For example, Ethnologue has data about Bahasa Indonesia. The slide, please. So, the entry from Ethnologue for Bahasa Indonesia tells us that there are about 1 million to 1 billion speakers, which is roughly similar to Tagalog, one of my first languages, which also has about 1 million to 1 billion speakers. And you'll find more information about English, about Bahasa Indonesia, about Tagalog, and other languages in Ethnologue. So I encourage our teachers, not only from the Faculty of Letters, but also from the other faculties, if you'd like to tell more about language, about English, about Bahasa Indonesia to your students, you can use Ethnologue. So going back to English, imagine having access to just about 100 speakers, or let's say 1,000 speakers, And you can only dream about the network that you can build, the knowledge of 100 or 1,000 people that you can tap into because you speak the same language with them. That you speak English and they also speak English. That is just one of the advantages of having functional proficiency of English. So English is not just the language of instruction. In most educational institutions in Indonesia, in the Philippines, and other countries where there are prestigious universities. But it is the language of politics, the language of law, the language of medicine, and in fact, one of the official languages of more than 67 countries in the world. So imagine if you know how to speak English, then you have access to speakers of the same language from 67 countries. And that includes the Philippines. That's the reason why you were able to make collaborative activities with PUP, because you speak English. You will also find, next slide please, 60 million speakers of English in the UK, 20 million in Canada, 17 million in Australia, and 4.8 million in New Zealand. In the United States alone, there are about 230 million native speakers of English. So your functional proficiency in English allows you to learn more about other countries and experience their culture, their entertainment, like, for example, watching Netflix without subtitles, ensure successful business transactions such as work opportunities. If you'd like to work or study abroad, you need English. And enjoy traveling in many parts of the world, since English is one of the most useful languages for our mobility in the world, if not the most important language for mobility. So in a way, English is our way of communicating with the world. If you know how to speak English, you know how to communicate with people around the world. Now, I keep on telling you about functional literacy in English. Functional literacy, what does it mean? Functional literacy is a 21st century skill, and UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, describes it as a set of practical skills that enable a person to function effectively in their communities. Just the basic skills that allow you to effectively fulfill your functions in your society, in your communities. So please remember that functional literacy is not only about English. Functional literacy involves reading and writing in a variety of languages, including Bahasa Indonesia, including Tagalog, doing mathematics. If you know how to count, you know how to compute, problem solving, they're part of your functional literacy. And knowledge about science and the environment. For example, before the PUP delegation left the Philippines, there was a strong typhoon. The name of the typhoon is Typhoon Kathy. The international name is Typhoon Welpring. So, knowledge about the environment is crucial to survival. Not only the knowledge about the topography of the place where you live, but functional literacy involves aspects of environmental conservation. For example, waste segregation. If you know where to put the biodegradable and the non-biodegradable, you know how to segregate them in different trash bins. That's part of your functional literacy, your ability to protect our environment, our ecosystem. In English in particular, functional literacy refers to knowing how to read and write, how to listen and speak using English. And I'd like to emphasize that I am focusing on, or I am emphasizing on basic English, the basic skills in English. It also involves knowing when to use English. That is also very crucial. You should know when to use English, because in reality, we do not need English all the time. The proficiency in English involves knowing when to use it, for whom we can and must use English, and the variety of purposes we can use our English in, even adjusting our English depending on the level of proficiency of the person we are communicating with. For example, let's move on now to the next slide, please. Yeah. So one time I was in Thailand and I stayed in a hotel. How do you pronounce this? It's Havana, right? So the hotel is called Havana, and I keep on saying Havana with my Anglophone pronunciation. When I rode the cab, I tell the cab driver that they must take me to Havana Hotel. And I would always have a hard time making the driver understand where I was going. So after about a couple of times, about 2 times that I had a hard time to talk with the cab driver, I realized that they pronounce the name of the hotel as Awana. Awana. And when I tried saying Awana instead of insisting on Havana, magically the problem was solved. And the driver could normally understand where I needed to go. And later on, I realized when I started to study Thai, because I'm studying Thai now, there is no V in the language, in the Thai language. Thai speakers replace V with W. That's why the name of the airport in Bangkok, if you have been to Bangkok next, please, how do you pronounce this? Suvarnabhumi in your Anglophone pronunciation, right? Suvarnabhumi. But it's not actually pronounced Suvarnabhumi. It's pronounced Suvarnapom. Suvarnapom. So if you go to Thailand and you alight in this airport, it's Suvarnapom Airport. So the point is knowing when to break your Anglophone pronunciation so that people can better understand you is also part of functional literacy. We never need to insist on American English, on British English, on your textbook Englishes. So English, the English language, next please, has more than 1,000 words. Imagine, the English language is more than 171,000 words. But a normal English speaker does not need to know 50%, does not need to know 20%, or even just 1% of all of these words in the English language. Because with only 300 of the most used words in English, you can understand the meaning of about 65% of all written works. So you don't need to know 171,000 words. You only need about 300. So it makes English very easy to learn because the language, the English language, is just a combination of about 300 words. Unlike, for example, other languages like French or Spanish, if you try to learn French and Spanish, it's quite difficult because the nouns are gendered. You have to know if the nouns are male or female. In Bahasa, Indonesia, also in Tagalog, our nouns don't have any gender. They're not male or, for example, the chair is either male or female in French, in Spanish, but in our language, also in English, the objects don't have any gender. Nihongo has its own script. That's why it's also a challenge. It's difficult to learn Nihongo because of the writing system. Thai and Chinese are also very difficult because they're tonal. So it may be just one word, ma, for example, but if you change the tone, it becomes different. So ma can be a rice field, but when you say ma, it can be horse. So it's very difficult to learn Chinese and also Thai because meaning changes depending on the tone. For other speakers in the world, Bahasa, Indonesia, and Tagalog are even more difficult. For the Westerners, English speakers struggle with learning Bahasa, Indonesia, and Tagalog. Now, why do we struggle to use English? Next, please. So, even among Filipinos, one of the greatest struggles in making students use English more often is their fear of rejection or correction from other people. We are very afraid that other people will not accept our English. They will correct our errors or our mistakes in using the language. We tend to be afraid of these corrections, especially when the corrections come from people who may be inferior compared with us. For example, with age. We fear corrections from younger people, right? From our students. We don't want to be corrected by our students or people who belong to the lower social class. But remember that you are only as good as the risk that you take in using English. You have to take the risk in using the language. Continue to make errors, continue to make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, it means that you're not using the language, right? If no one corrects you, it means that you're not using the language. They don't have anything to correct. So you have to continue using the English. You see, I think you have in you to use English more often, but you lack the confidence to say what you want to say because you expect yourself to say your ideas in a beautiful manner, in a Western-centric manner, like American English or British English, which you think are more acceptable for other people. But that is not how language works. That's not how language works. Just think of how freely you use Bahasa Indonesia when you speak with your friends. You do not care about what they think of your language, of your Bahasa Indonesia, because after all, it is your language. Next, please. You have ownership of your language, and your language is your property. And when you own your language, you will not care about other people's judgment. Just like with your belongings. For example, you do not care what other people think about how you use your cell phones. You have your cell phones with you, right? You can imagine your language like your cell phone. Your English is like your cell phone. It is your own. It is your property. The only thing that matters is that you deliver or you say your message, you clarify or edit, repeat when needed, and let people adjust to their understanding of your English. Because they will always ask you, they will clarify, they will ask you to repeat what you said, they will ask you to perhaps make your English simpler so that they will be able to understand you. This is something similar between Filipinos and Indonesians. We struggle with our ownership of English. Even Filipinos, English is a second language in the Philippines, but you will find a lot of Filipinos who do not own English. We tend to abide by the rules of Western books, right? Western Englishes, like American English and British English. And because of that, we find ourselves lacking or deficient, or our proficiency is missing a lot of many things. Perhaps because we do not sound like the Americans. Because we do not use the same words and expressions that Americans use. Next, please. Because we do not understand the idiomatic expressions and figurative language that Americans use in conversations. We have this tendency to aspire to sound like the Western textbooks that we study to learn English. But we are not Americans, and we are not textbooks. We are Indonesian speakers of English. We are Filipino speakers of English. We are Southeast Asian speakers of English. And we are different compared with other speakers of Englishes in the world. So I hope that we stop prioritizing learning American English or British English, and we hold on to our own identity as Indonesian speakers of English, as Filipino speakers of English. Next, please. In 2011, I'm not sure if you are familiar with Braj Kachru. Kachru is an Indian scholar and the father of the World Englishes framework, World Englishes. And Kachru wrote about nativeness in English in Asia. Kachru said that there are two types of nativeness, genetic and functional. You are a genetic native of English if the birthplace of English is where you are located. And the development of a language is it starts from when you were born. For example, in your case, you are genetically native speakers of Bahasa Indonesia because the language is born here in your region and you are born with the language. But there is another type of nativeness, which, if you ask me, is more important compared with genetic nativeness. It is called functional nativeness. And earlier, remember I mentioned about functional English, so they're quite related. Functional nativeness, perhaps in terms of English, would mean that English was not born in Asia, and it was only brought to Asia through colonization or migration of English speakers, perhaps both, or perhaps through globalization. But the breadth and depth, next please, of the social penetration of English in Asia makes its speakers functional natives of the language. So we are functional natives of the English language. But this depends on our ownership of English. Because those who own English have the right to claim that they are native speakers of English. Because English plays a huge role in our lives. Like for Filipinos, English plays a huge role in our lives. Do you know that our constitution, the Philippine Constitution, is written in English? We have Tagalog translation, Filipino translations of our constitution, but they are only translations. The original constitution of the Philippines is written in English. And that's why our idea of justice in the Philippines is written in English and not in Filipino. So that makes the English language a very important language for Filipinos. So the idea that there is such a term called Indonesian English, I'm now moving on to introducing, perhaps for some of you, reminding that there is a term called Indonesian English or Indolish. Next, please. And it's not new at all because you see, before Asian Englishes, Catchrew wrote in the 1980s about World Englishes, which is still the most influential model to describe the diffusion or distribution of the English language in the world today. Next, please. Catchrew believes that English is not the sole property of the traditionally English-speaking countries such as the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Catchrew believes in the, next please, multiplicity and pluricentricity of English. Multiplicity refers to the multitude of Englishes. There is no one English. There are many Englishes in the world, such as the more popular, of course, you know about American English, British English, Australian English, but there are other, less known Englishes. For example, Singlish and Singaporean English. We have Chinglish or Chinese English and Hong Kong English as well. We have Japlish, Malaysian English. We have our very own Philippine English, and we now are calling it Philippine Englishes because there are many different Englishes in the Philippines. And now, of course, the growing literature on Indolish or Indonesian English. Pluricentric, on the other hand, refers to the many centers of English. English has centers around the world, and the centers refer to where English develops. And these are not isolated in the US, the UK, or in Canada, in New Zealand, but basically anywhere English can be found. Like here in Indonesia, English can be found here. So there is a center of English in Indonesia. In the Philippines as well, we consider that there is a center of English in the Philippines because there are a lot of Englishes in the world today. So you see, what I am saying earlier about owning English, it's not just a personal perspective. It actually comes from Catchrew. There is a framework that supports such conditions. So allow me to be more illustrative of what I'm saying about owning English. or about Indonesian English in particular. So in 2020, there was an article by Endarto published in the Indonesian Journal of Applied Linguistics. This is a Scopus Q2 journal. The lexical characteristics of Indonesian English were found to have 4 behaviors. First, Indonesian origin loanwords. Second, Indonesian English lexicon resulting from semantic shifts and those from morphological shifts, as well as Indonesian English collocations. I'm sorry, I'm using the terms, the words in our discipline. So I'm sure the English teachers, Ibu Triana and the other teachers from the Faculty of Letters can understand me because these are the technical terms, the jargons in our field. So, for example, in the corpus analysis of English newspapers in Indonesia, so this researcher studied the English newspapers in Indonesia. Next, please. Endarto found that titles for persons or addressing terms are commonly used, such as Bu, Pak, Kiai, and Haji. This means that Indonesian English includes these addressing terms. And there is no need to replace Bu with Miss or Mrs. or Pak with Mr. to complete an English sentence. So you can use Bu or Pak in your English and it is perfectly okay. So this is the same with words for culture and religion. Next, please. Such as Idul Fitri. I'm sorry if I am not pronouncing the terms correctly. Wayang, Batik. Next, please. There's Gamelan and Chris. So these words appear in English newspapers. And take a look at the frequency, the number of times that they appear in English newspapers. So it means that these Bahasa Indonesia words actually appear in English text, in English newspapers. I'm actually looking for sambal here. Because, you know, sambal is perhaps one of the most widely known Bahasa Indonesia word, but I did not find sambal anywhere in the paper. Even other words like komodo. I didn't know that komodo is from Bahasa Indonesia. I thought komodo is an English word. So it's a Bahasa Indonesia word that was added to the English dictionary. So you see, you have representations of your identity in the English dictionaries. Next, please. In the 2018 article by Dewi et al. In the International Journal of Humanities and Social Science Invention, they found that Indolish, in the notices or memorandum issued in an Indonesian school, is highly understandable for Indonesian students, such as tune up, the spelling is C-U-N-U-P instead of T-U-N-E because the pronunciation of C is ch, right? So instead of tune up with T-U-N-E, it becomes C-U-N, and it's perfectly pronounced as tune up, and even translate. So, of course, the non-Indonesians struggle to understand the terms with varying spelling. But the Indonesian students perfectly understand them. And we have to remember that the notices are for the Indonesian students and not for foreigners. The Indonesian students did not encounter any problem in understanding what the words mean. Next, please. In the study of Anissa in 2023, just last year, published in the journal English Learning Innovation, she found that the expanding circle where English belongs is represented in the textbooks for elementary schools in Indonesia, both in text and images. Next, please. For example, names such as this is from an English textbook. Names such as Seta, Donna, Nurul, and Tigor appear with brown skin, playing kites, and wearing batik, which are all representations of Indonesian identity. This is not like other textbooks that use Western names and Western objects, which are very far from the realities of the young Indonesian students. So, these published works are just a few examples that language scholars have started thinking and writing about, and in a way embracing and promoting the uniqueness and legitimacy of Indonesian English. Just to share with you, next please, a few parallel ideas or same ideas in my very own Philippine English. So during the pandemic and even until today, Filipinos will say, open the camera, right? Do you hear us saying, open the camera or open the microphone on Zoom? Instead of the more quote-unquote Western or grammatical turn on or switch on. But no one really makes any big deal out of this variation in Philippine English. And people perfectly understood, even foreigners, even Americans, even the British people, they perfectly understood what open the camera or open the microphone means. And this is an example of the development of Philippine English. Even for, for lights, for light bulbs and television, Filipinos will say, open the lights or open the television. But it's supposed to be turn on the lights or switch on the television. And we pass this on to, to other speakers of English because Filipinos are teachers of English. There are a lot of Filipinos who teach English to other people in the world, to Chinese, to Indonesians, to Malaysians. So in the future, you will hear the world speak in Philippine English, right? You will all speak like us, like Filipinos, because we teach you English. But kidding aside, the development of Philippine English and Indonesian English are examples of how we embrace our diversity and our multilingual identity. So finally, let me share with you an interesting article that I found online written by a guy called Zariska. Next, please. Zariska is an Indonesian. The title of what he posted online is The Difficulty of Speaking English in Indonesia. And I invite you to read with me. So Zariska said, hi guys. Notice the spelling of hi, right? It comes with an A. Hi guys, there's no comma because after hi guys, please go back to the slide before this. Please go ahead to the next slide. So, hi guys, this is my first article that I wrote, and here I'm gonna share my experience and the fact that many people have agreed of it. I'm reading from Zariska, this is not mine. So right now, I'm a student in the university and I take English literature. I'm not sure, maybe Zariska is from Unpam. English literature of my study, and I will have my bachelor's degree 4 years later. I will write my first article. It's about the difficulty of speaking English in Indonesia as an Indonesian. As you can see, Indonesia is located in Southeast Asia, or SEA, which is the one of the area in the continent of Asia. It have 10 countries, and Indonesia is the one of those. Many people in Indonesia, they used Indonesia or Bahasa Indonesia, Indonesia language, as their native language, which is this language is just an official language in here. Because there is only one official language that people, almost all the Indonesians speak, we don't have many people that speak in other languages like English. Not all people in Indonesia understand English because for some reason, like uneducation, don't have encouraged to learn English, etc. But some teenagers or Gen Z, almost all of them understand English as well, even the basic, because they already faced the tech and the phone, which have more English literature or even just a phone settings and bit news. Next, please. I was born in 2005, so I included on the Gen Z. I started to learn my English when I was a child, like maybe 5 years old. That time, I used to study English with my dad and my aunt, which is my dad's older sister. She's have a good knowledge in English, and she always taught me little by little vocabulary and pronunciation. And also, she taught me the English kid song. For example, is Twinkle Little Star, etc. From that, I know piecemeal of English, but it's hard for me to use English all of time, because my family, they just know English little bit. My family usually use Bahasa Indonesia and Javanese, so I don't have much time to learn about English, except with my aunt. But the problem is my aunt's houses is far from us, so I have to learn it with my dad and myself. As the time flies, when I was in elementary school and I met a lot of friends there, and we used to play together, hanging around and do fun stuff. There are a lesson of English there, but I'm not too focused on it because I'm so lazy at the time. And I don't have someone to speaking English with. And also, I'm not used English much in my elementary for 6 years. Next, please. In junior high school, I started to use my English because there are a lot of friends who understand English well. And I feel happy that moment because I'm not just stuck on the moment that I can't improve my English. But there are some obstacles on it, like our friends always yell at me and said to me that, don't use English here. Are you an English or Indonesian? Or something like that. That seems like they don't support for people who want to learn and grow. A lot of my friends that in the same class with me have the same problem like me from our classmates and friends from different classes. Because of it, they decided to just shut and didn't talk English much. This problem make them felt unsupported, and it can make them stop learning English and stop growing. And many people, included me, have the same reason as them for their English. So that is my little experience that I could tell you. It is not about the experience, it's about the little problem that I could tell you from using English here. I will give a point, the main problem of the difficulties of learning English in Indonesia in general. That's the end of the article from Zariska. Perhaps many of your students speak this way or write this way. But you understood Zariska, right? There was no problem in understanding the article. The goal of using language is to communicate. And Zariska communicated with us quite clearly, if I may say. So if you will ask me, who's stopping Zariska from speaking and writing more Indonesian English? Who's stopping you from gaining confidence in speaking and writing in English? English is yours, and I encourage you to use it to your advantage. So that's all. Thank you very much, and terima kasih. Just one more before I end my speech. I would like to share with you, if you can go to the website now, the articles that were published by a number of teachers from the Faculty of Letters in our journal. So we have a journal at PUP. It's called Journal of English Language Arts. The website, please. I just would like to share with you that because of our memorandum of agreement with the Faculty of Letters, your teachers here at Unpam were able to publish their articles with us. So if you can go to the 2024 issue, so there you will find articles written by, please go down, scroll down please, by Pitria and Rahayu, by Maharini and Nordin, by Azaro and Taman. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. Yeah. And also, even before 2024, your faculty members in the Faculty of Letters have been publishing with us. If you can go to the 2022, there are articles published by Pritchan and Sabila. There's also the articles by Bardon, by Dangaran, and Hazul. Yeah. And also in the other years. So these are all the fruits of our memorandum of agreement with the Universitas PAMULANG, in particular with the Faculty of Letters. That's why I encourage all the other faculties, the dean of the other faculties, to continue your collaboration with us. So 2 weeks ago, Ibu Triana and I met the Dean of the College of Communication, and I would like to share with the chairman and with the rector that Ibu Triana and I are going to meet the other deans at PUP, together with the deans here at UNPAM, so that we will have more collaborative activities, including publishing the research of the faculty and also the students at UNPAM in our journals at PUP. Maraming salamat. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ortiz Paz. Okay, you may sit in here. Okay. So, honorables and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very great presentations of the papers, and some of the materials that the topics that discussed by the speaker is bring my memories when I pursued my bachelor degrees, how we struggled learn English, because the lecturer divided into two parties, that is a British English and also American English. So in most of the times when the lecturer come to the class and they have British pronunciation, and then we have the "Good morning, sir. Nice, very nice to see you today." And then when we mispronounce, especially in British, and then he or she will correct the pronunciation. And sometimes when I say that as a student, as a student, and then we learn a lot about that. So it's really tiring. And then when the lecturer that have American pronunciation come, and then we a little bit more relaxed, but our mind is really a struggle to live because speaks very fast, okay? And then it's very interesting that from this on we can learn that we have to know that English still is the official language. We have to know about the functional literacy, and we have to aware of functional nativeness. Okay, that's a very great things to know. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to ask questions to our speakers. Okay. First session, we invite 5 persons for the questions. Okay. So, Mr. Nurdin will help us. And then please mention your name and your institution. Thank you very much. Mr. Tito first. Okay.
Tes. Alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Yeah. My name is Tito, and yeah, it is really inspiring to hear your materials today, because today there is no inner circle anymore, according to Kachru. There will be like outer circles, and there will be expanding circles. It means that everyone can own English. English is not monopolized by, for example, by inner circle countries persons, like what Mrs. Wiwit said. It's like a British and maybe James Bond or Rambo, for the superheroes. But there will be like expanding circles. This is really interesting. So the question is about the dilemma. I think many standardized tests haven't adapted the situation according to this view culture, and followed by Professor Jenkins telling us about what English is. That English is not English, but English is with ES. English is. It means that everyone can own English because it already expands to outer circles. Like Philippines like Spanish. Many terms are adapted from Spanish, and maybe Japanese English, like Pak Jokowi. He speaks like Japanese English. But the problem is, the dilemma is, there are some still challenges. Yeah, for example, when we have the TOEFL test or session, yeah, we have to follow the American Standardized English. Also, when we follow IELTS, yeah, there will be like British English, yeah. So, what's your prediction, or maybe the collaboration in the future between Unpam and PUP, making like, yeah, small research about English, about the standardized English that is not stigmatized by only two inner circle countries like British and American. Maybe can we collaborate like variations? Yeah, maybe you said that we have Indo English, yeah, English in the list, yeah, in the list, and you have like Philippine English. Maybe there will be like standardized tests about that. Is there any chance of that? Maybe, yeah. So that's my
Thank
question.
you very
Thank
much,
you very much.
Tito. Indonesian English is very interesting. For example, when I was on my way here this morning, I realized that, you know, one feature of Indonesian English is how you call your cars. Because in the Philippines, we call our cars, but in Indonesia, you call them mobile, right? And I did not need to clarify. I did not need to ask any Indonesian about this variation. So that's an example of how we can understand different Englishes based on context. Because remember that when we communicate with other people, it's not only the words that matter. The context also matters. And in fact, if you will look at most published work, they say that in communication, when we communicate with other people, only 30% are accounted for the verbal, the words. And the majority, 70%, are for the nonverbals. We are able to learn about what the other person is saying because of the nonverbals, because of the context of our use of the language. Now, this is a very challenging question, and in fact, in a lot of conferences that I attend, people always ask about the standardized test. For example, IELTS, TOEFL. We call them gatekeeping examinations. Gatekeeping, because they gatekeep people from entering work or universities abroad. And right now, we cannot do away with these standardized examinations because the power is, held by these countries that operate or that require IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, and all the other gatekeeping examinations. So you're actually one step ahead, Patito, for suggesting that we create our own examination, because that is really the answer to the problem. We don't allow the Americans or the British to set the standards for us. We create our own standards. So for example, for Indonesian speakers of English, we must have our own standards. Because like what I said in the presentation, at the end of the day, we are not Americans. We are not British who are trying to speak English. We are Asians who speak English in our own context. And naturally, our English is different from the Englishes of other people in the world. So that's a very good idea to start creating the examination for us in order for us to gauge our own proficiency in English and not allow other people. But of course, you have to understand that we are going against I was supposed to say monsters. Yeah, on top of my head, it's monsters. But yeah, the superpowers. We're going against the superpowers, and it will really be a big struggle for us. It will take a long time for us to resist them. But we are getting there, little by little. We're getting there. In the Philippines, although we have not started creating our own examinations, you will find universities resisting IELTS, TOEFL. We don't require our students to take these examinations anymore because we believe that our students are good in English. Our students are proficient in English. And there is no IELTS or TOEIC or TOEFL that, can measure the proficiency of a Filipino who know how to speak English. So hopefully in the future, with our collaborations with each other, we'll be able to empower your students and your faculty to think highly of themselves. Because, to be honest, when I speak with the students and the other faculty from your university, you just panic. You just panic when we talk to you in English. But actually, I know that you know what to say to us, what to tell us, how to respond to us. You're just too hesitant. You hesitate in using the language. And you have to, you have to resist that. You have to defeat that, that feeling that you don't know what to say. Because in reality, you do. You're just hesitating from using the words that you already know. So don't worry, because like what I said in my presentation, people will accommodate you. Even native speakers of English, although I hate that word, the native referring to Americans and British people, if they don't understand you, they will ask, they will clarify. So you don't have to be afraid about, using your English with them. Let them accommodate you. Force them to clarify what you mean. Just use the language for them. I think that is the first step in order for us to have better proficiency of English, to be more confident in using the language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a good answer. Well, the second, okay, we would like to invite, Ibu. Yeah.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dharmawati from Computer Science faculty. I would like to ask about the functional literacy. Actually, I'm more interested in teaching method because I'm studying about it. And I think I have brought the Indolist in my class to force my students to speak English. But sometimes, I still need to find the right method how to make them able to speak English. Maybe you have an experience how to encourage students to speak more, or how to make them more brave, more confidence to speak their English. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, because we were talking about this yesterday during the curriculum review. So I shared with the teachers from the Faculty of Letters that we have a subject, a course in the Philippines called cross-cultural communication. And what we do is to require our students, to tell our students to find friends abroad, to allow them to talk to more people. Apart from because if our students only talk to us, to the teachers, they tend to be afraid of using the language. They don't want to use English because they don't want to be corrected by their teachers. They think that when we correct them, that's already like deduction to their grade. We minus points to them because they commit mistakes in using the language. So my suggestion is to find other speakers of English who share the same level with our students. My suggestion with the Faculty of Letters yesterday was to expose their students to our students at PUP. Perhaps we can do online meetings with our students and your students. That way, your students are able to use the language, to use English, because of course, our students in the Philippines don't know Bahasa Indonesia. So the only language that we share is English. If your students are forced to communicate with our students at PUP, and I guess they'll be perhaps more relaxed to use English with their fellow students rather than with teachers, it will really boost their confidence and perhaps develop their proficiency in English. So that is my suggestion, not only for the Faculty of Letters, the students in the Faculty of Letters, but also the students from the other faculties. Perhaps you can expose, well, not only Filipinos, but other students from around the world. You can tell your students to go online and search for people whom they can talk to and practice their English more. Because if we only allow students or require students to use English with us, they tend to be afraid. They tend to lose confidence. And I think they'll be more confident to use English when they speak with people, perhaps with the same age, with the same level of interest. Because imagine, your students know things that you don't, right? For example, pop culture. If your students will talk to you about pop culture, popular culture, about Beyonce, for example, about Taylor Swift, will you be able to answer? Perhaps just a bit, right? But then if they find other people in the world who are fond of Taylor Swift songs, who are Swifties like them, then is Taylor Swift a thing here in Indonesia? Taylor Swift. Yeah, so if they find people who like Taylor Swift, a Swiftie like them, then they'll be more confident. They'll be more excited to speak to these fellow young people. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Okay. Mr. Ordispas has opened the chance for the students to communicate to one another from PUP and then also Universitas Pamulang. We wait for the dean and for the rectors to make it through. Okay, the next questions. Okay, yeah. Ya, silakan Ibu.
Good morning, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang umaga, maraming salamat sa information, Mr. Rafael. I met you last Sunday. I am Amy. My question have actually been slightly discussed from the previous questioners. I'd like to ask, first of all, taking a risk. I'm so interested about it and making mistake. I've been actually promoting this idea for quite a long time. Even I said sometimes you won't be able to ride a bike without falling it first. However, I've really cannot yet set the perception in the same boat with my students. So practically what kind of method or how I can do inside the class. I feel that I've been so nice, I've been so friendly, so I'm not a threatening lectures, but still it doesn't work yet as I expected. So that's one is the first one. The second one about the functional nativeness, I remember you told me that English was not born in Asia, yet we are Asian. So in the fact of the ESL industry, especially that mainly English people, English lecturers, English teachers come from those 5 countries. So even those who come from 5 countries that they not graduate in English, they will gain more trust from us. Yet we are Asian. If we even are mastering in our English, we graduate from English in a bachelor degree, master degree, even PhD, we probably not get as equally trusted as those who are in the European country or in the American country. So my question, despite the inferiority, how can we compete in the world of education in English, as knowing that English is not only them, but English is only us, is on also us? Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have to understand that even if you're friendly with your students, you said that you're nice with them, you're not threatening, you're still an adult. And you're the teacher. So the teacher factor, of course, matters. And if we just keep on encouraging our students to talk to us, then, you know, they might be afraid, even no matter how friendly we are toward them or to them. So, like what I said earlier, perhaps giving opportunities to your students to speak with other students, other people, who have the same age can help them boost their confidence in using the language and later on develop their proficiency. So I think that's my response to the first question. Expose students to other people apart from the teacher, younger people. And then for the second question, Filipinos struggle with the discrimination, not because of our proficiency in English or our skills in teaching English, but because of our color, right?
you have to having the red blonde hair and the blue eyes
Yes.
and white skin.
And that equates to your value, your monetary value as a teacher. If you have blue eyes, white skin, brown hair, then that means that you'll be able to get more compared with your Asian counterparts. We struggle with the same problem, but I have to be honest, I don't know how to solve that problem because it involves, I hate to say it or to admit it, racial discrimination. For example, in Japan, there are a lot of Filipino teachers of English in Japan. But if you will ask about their salaries, they get less compared with their counterparts who are from the West, from the US, from Australia, from Canada. And if you will compare their credentials, the Filipino teachers often have, like what Ibo Ami said, they have bachelors in English. They're quite proficient in teaching the language. They have masters, they have doctorate, but their counterparts who are from the US, from Canada, don't have any credentials in teaching. They only have their language and their skin color. So this is also something that we struggle with because even in the Philippines, you will find schools that will hire, I call them mascots. They're like mascots. They're there because they are hired in schools not because of their proficiency in teaching English, but because of what they look like. And it's all because of our aspirations for internationalization. There's the big word over there. We believe that internationalization relates more to, hiring, I'm sorry, the chairman is here, and also the rector, because they might want to hire people from the US and Canada. Yeah, so we struggle with these things. And right now, I don't have any answer to the, I'm sorry, Ibu Ami, I cannot answer that question. We keep on perhaps striving to make ourselves better in using the language and in teaching the language, to let our fellow Asians know that we have, far better skills in teaching their people English. I think the Japanese are starting to realize this because no matter how much they would like to hire more Westerners, they also hire Filipinos. There's a problem with the salary, but they keep on hiring Filipinos because Filipinos can teach better English compared with the white counterparts. And this happens around the world. You'll find a lot of Filipinos teaching English to a lot of people in the world. In China, in Malaysia, in Singapore, there are a lot of Filipino teachers of English in Singapore. In Thailand, there are a lot of Filipinos who teach English. No matter what, no matter how much schools wanted to hire Westerners, they also keep on hiring Filipinos. That's why I joked earlier that later on, the world will speak Philippine English because we export Filipino teachers of English around the world. So we just keep on showing them that we do better than what they can actually do. But for now, we just keep on, struggling with this discrimination among us, even among us Asians.
Okay, give a big applause to Mr. Pras. Okay. Now, I still remember my lecturers in a bachelor degrees from California, Mr. Nathan Betts. And then when he was teaching, really struggling in writing on a whiteboard because several times make us mistakes in spelling and sometimes ask us, okay, would you please help me how to write believe? Because always make a mistake in writing believe, okay, just write believe, okay. And he said that because they don't learn about writing using pen and pencil, but computers, okay. And I think that what have been stated is correct. We have to keep on fighting to show our best. Okay, the next questions. Okay.
Can I, Ibu?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Bu Wiwit, and also Dr. Rafael Ameka Margianti, one of the members of English department. Well, Dr. Rafael, it is very different between the previous person who are asking how to deliver English or how to teach English for the students. But here, I really interested in your slide talking about some words that in Indonesia, perhaps there is no equivalence between Indonesian word or English, what we call as translanguaging. Am I right? Translanguaging. Yes. I really interested in why. I'm wondering if we can collaborate some research. For example, like we are having Indonesian term because no English equivalent. But perhaps Filipino also has some a Philippine words, and then we combine and then we collaborate with some research. Finding the translanguaging words between Indonesian and also Filipino. If you are then interested in doing some collaboration with translanguaging practices in some words between Indonesia and Filipino, then I believe that I'm wondering as one of the participants who collaborate in doing writing. Thank you, Dr. Rafael.
So Ibu Triana will take note of this. That there's a faculty, the teacher from the Faculty of Letters would like to work with us on a paper about translanguaging.
Yes.
So for the rest of our audience who have not heard of translanguaging before, it is one of the newest developments, although it's not really new at all because we've been doing it for a long, long time. Well, I think it's our strategy. It's always have been the strategy in teaching other languages, not only English, to our students. So translanguaging refers to using the full linguistic repertoire of our students, all the languages in the classroom, so that the students will be able to learn the target language better. So this involves, it's part and parcel, code switching, and also translation. For example, you're teaching something to your students in English, but then they're having a hard time making sense of what you say. So what you do is to translate it in Bahasa Indonesia, so they'll be able to understand better. But what's important is that you go back to English, because sometimes that's what teachers forget. They just translate from English to Bahasa Indonesia, but they don't lead their students back to English. Right? So you always do that in your classroom. You say something in English, translate it to Bahasa Indonesia, but you don't repeat the same information in English. So the students are left with Bahasa Indonesia, and they cannot translate in their minds anymore. They cannot go back to the English idea or English words. So yes, I opened I'm also, I wouldn't say a scholar of translanguaging, but I've presented, well, if you've seen my curriculum vitae earlier, I've presented papers about translanguaging. I'm writing a paper right now with my colleagues in the university about translanguaging, and maybe not me, but our other faculty members. But I'm very much open to doing this project with you, although I'm also working on another paper with Ibu Triana right now. So perhaps we can add a few more people with us, so there'll be more writers. In our project.
And Ibu Ami also would like to join.
Yes, yeah, Ibu Triana will take note of.
Ibu Triana, please.
Later on in
Count me on, Bu.
In our meetings, Ibu Triana will endorse your names to us so we can write this paper together.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Go back to Bu Wiwi. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Bu Eka. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, is there any questions addressed or okay? Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. My name is Untung Nugroho. I'm not English lecturer or teacher. I'm from engineering faculty. Normally, I can speak, in the different ways I speak 4 languages. Like Japanese, I speak with my parents and my brother. Indonesian is like a daily activity. English is in this condition, and also Turkish in special condition. But the problem is, I cannot make their original accents, like how to speak English in original accent, because normally when I speak Indonesian, it's also in Japanese accent also. So How can you give me like suggestion to make our accents to be more better? Yeah, and and I also have problem. Normally, my official language is Indonesian, but when I speak with my parents and my brother, my Indonesian is gone. It's finished. I never speak Indonesian with my parents and my brother. So it's like gone. Never use Indonesian. How to solve this? Thank you so much.
My suggestion is that you embrace your own identity, especially in using English. You speak English very well. I didn't have any problem understanding what you say in English. There is no problem with your English. Perhaps it's the first thing that you need to understand, and you need to accept, you need to embrace that there is no problem with your English. No matter what your accent is, you speak English like an Indonesian, you speak English like a Filipino, you speak English like a Japanese. As long as people understand what you mean, what you want to say, there is no problem. And when we say original accent, what does that even mean? Because Filipinos will have their original accent, guided by our Filipino language. Filipino languages, by the way. Indonesians you will have your own original accent, which is not bad at all. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done, but just like what I said in my presentation, it's about embracing our own identity, embracing our own English. Own your English. No matter what it sounds like. It sounds Indonesian, it sounds Japanese, it is your English. And you have to own your English. You don't need to sound like what you say original accent or Americans or British. You don't have to sound like them. They're not the correct English. There's no just one correct English in the world. There are a lot of Englishes in the world. Even your Englishes are legitimate Englishes. So you have to embrace your own identity. You have to own your English. Because there is no problem with your English. Yeah, and I also suggest that to everyone here, that you embrace your own identity. We celebrate our multilingual identity that we show in English. I hope I answered your question. Because he speaks good English, right? You understood his English.
Right.
So there's no problem with your English, no problem with your accent at all.
Okay. So don't worry, sir. You can speak English with Japanese accents, okay, or any other regions in Indonesia. Because I have friends of lecturers, professors in UIN Batu Sangkar. He speaks English in Japanese language and really unique. And when pursue the doctorate degrees in Australians, nobody complain about that, okay? When he said that, ladies and gentlemen, it's very nice to see you today. Well, it's very fine, okay? Nobody complains. And they say that, okay, we understand that. Keep going, okay? So, so I think that what Mr. Ordispas says is true. So keep your identity, okay? As long as we understand what you've said, sir, everything's fine, okay? Is there any other questions?
Yeah, and if I may add, we should stop, considering what Australians, what Americans say as a barometer or measure of our correctness. Well, you will that's true. You will rarely find these people, the Americans, the Canadians, and others complaining about our English, right? It's often our people in our own country complain about our English. But others, they don't. They don't have, any problems with understanding what we say. So it's only about, it has something to do with our confidence. It's about accepting our identity and being confident in our own identity. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it is a very, very interesting topic, and we have a lot of fun here and knowledge and also informations about English as international language and how we teach that to our students. So give a warm applause and big applause to our speakers today. So thank you very much for coming. We give the to master ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Wiwit. Ladies and gentlemen, please give round of applause to our speaker and moderator today. Thank you for the honorable speaker and the moderator for the insightful presentation and knowledge. We truly appreciate the valuable information you have shared. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of our general session, I'd like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to our speaker and for the valuable insights and for all of you for your kind participation during the session. We hope you found the discussion informative and inspiring, and your engagement has made this event truly special. Hadirin yang kami hormati, demikianlah acara kuliah umum sudah kita lalui bersama. Mudah-mudahan apa yang kita peroleh dari kegiatan ini senantiasa bermanfaat. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Saya Diah Iis Andriani, as the Master of Ceremony, memohon maaf apabila terdapat kekeliruan dan kesalahan selama memandu acara ini. Thank you once again for being here with us today. We wish you all the best and look forward for seeing you at our future events. Terima kasih atas segala perhatiannya. Akhirul kalam, wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bapak Ibu, ada titipan amanat dari panitia. Untuk Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir, kami mohon untuk tetap mengisi dan mendaftar di IMS supaya mendapat sertifikat atas kegiatan hari ini. Jadi tetap diproses Bapak Ibu karena prosesnya akan tetap dibuka, link IMS akan tetap dibuka sampai malam hari ini. Kemudian bagi Bapak Ibu yang sudah mendaftar dan sudah lengkap semua prosesnya, bisa meneruskan untuk mengisi kuesioner yang tersedia di IMS supaya sertifikatnya bisa terbit. Sekali lagi terima kasih.
Dari segala sisi seringkali hilang arti. Aku hidup untuk siapa? Ku tidak nyaman lagi, bermimpi pun tahu diri. Apa sebaiknya pergi jika semua bersandar padaku? Lalu aku bersandar kemana? Mengalah, walau bukan aku yang salah, membisu saat semua sibuk beradu. Walau tak rela pun ku bantu berdoa ini semua berakhir di aku. Setiap hari ku mengais harta yang tak ku miliki, apa yang aku miliki. Jika semua bersandar padaku, lalu aku bersandar kemana? Mengalah, walau bukan aku yang salah, membisu saat semua sibuk beradu.
Hello, good afternoon.
Walau tak rela
Welcome to Universitas Pamulang.